we have to be true to ourselves. Otherwise, we're going to be a doormat. We're going to get walked all over. And I've talked about that before because I used to do that. I used to put other people's needs first, and my fear of standing up for myself was a close second. I didn't put my needs first. And so what I want you to think about is, how can you say what you need without feeling like it's a conflict? It can simply be a conversation, right? It doesn't always have to be a conflict. Like, hey, I would really like for us to do X, Y, or Z. Let me know how I can help in X, Y, or Z. Or you could say, this really makes me a little uncomfortable to ask for this, but I need a little bit of space. Or I would like a phone call or a text message within the day I send it. These are your rights when you are in a relationship. A relationship is two people. Both of you are supposed to do what? This? No, this, that's not a relationship. That's two separate hands. No, you're supposed to grow together, right? And so by expressing yourself, you're allowing the other person to express their needs as well. And isn't that a great way to have a healthy relationship? We often go into this anxiety and this fear-based mode of, oh my gosh, what if? Well, if that happens, then they're not the right person for you. Let me know if that makes sense. And honestly, guys, I want you to respect yourself, because if you don't, they won't know how to, the other person, right? Okay, let me know if that's helpful, Romana, and I appreciate you asking this question. Guys, is that helpful for you? Let us know. We have a few more questions coming in, and if we don't get to all of them tonight, I will be answering more later on throughout the evening and tomorrow. So if you're watching this and you're catching it later, after your Valentine's work day or regular putting your kids to bed or whatever, I will be answering them later. Okay, the next question. Hi, Lisa Marie. I'm so happy to see you. Glad you're joining us. How do we deal with more shootings today? The world is so sad. Lisa Marie, you are right. The world is very sad. I've got to tell you, I was glued into my Twitter feed for about 15 minutes and I was feeling really sad. I can't do anything about that right now, right? I can't do anything about what has already occurred, and it makes me feel helpless and hopeless. However, I have to, not just me, I think all of us have to say, where are we putting our energy? If we're putting our energy into things that we can't control right now and we're in an emotional mindset, we're going to feel not well. We're going to feel overwhelmed. I could barely even get off my phone for a second and I realized, oh my gosh, this is not helping me. This is hurting me. So when you're getting pulled into things like that and you're getting pulled into the Twitter feeds or the news and there's always breaking news, pause. Put the phone down, put the TV on mute, or just turn it off for a minute, because wait for the information to come in before you get completely emotionally attached. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to give to your relationship with you, them, anybody else, and you're not going to be able to think logically in order to help with solutions, right? So I hope this is helpful. And you guys, when anything tragic like this happens, it's so hard for all of us because we're empathic people. We care. We want to help. We have to help this person and the people close to us first before we can help other people. And we have to make sure that our brains are in the right place for us to be able to communicate clearly. Okay? I hope that's helpful. I think that I really want everyone to just take some self-care time, because you got to do you. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to help them. All right, let's get to some more questions. Guys, let us know how you're liking this. Let us know what questions you've got. Put them below and we will answer them. All right, here we go. Hi, Lime, great to see you. Glad you're here. Okay, awesome. Here's another question, which I think is really, really, really important for us to discuss. Okay, this one comes from Denise. My husband is always blaming me for everything because of my mental health. I can't get him to understand that anxiety and depression are serious and not something that you can just make go away. That is so frustrating. How many of you guys have been there? I've been there before. How many of you guys put a like up? Let's give some support to Denise, because, excuse me, this is really challenging and we got to change the conversation around it, right? Denise, you can only do so much because you're only one person in this relationship, right? There's another person's mind who has had a whole different experience than you have, right? Even though you're living in the same house and you're sleeping in the same bed, possibly, you have had two different experiences. I'm going to suggest something, and this is something I suggest for a lot of people who are thinking about getting married, who are married, and you know what that is? That is going to therapy together. Therapy is awesome when you go together and you find the right person to go too, the right therapist. It helps you navigate these challenges and in a way where you can be heard and he can be heard and you're not fighting. Isn't that great? And so what I suggest for a lot of couples out there is to do this before things get really heated. When you notice that you're feeling uncomfortable, it's time to seek out a little bit of support. That can also be somebody at church. That can be somebody in your community, but it has to be somebody who's a little bit more neutral and who can help you feel validated and help your husband feel validated too. When he starts to say, stop blaming this, or you should, or you, whatever, that's going to trigger you. It triggers me for you, my friend. But please don't react in an emotional mindset if you can avoid it. Remember, he doesn't get it. And the only way he can get it is if we get him some assistance so he can get help, so he can be your husband and be a validating partner and help you and him feel like you're in a great relationship. I hope that's helpful. It doesn't mean you have to go sign up for couples therapy necessarily, but let's start somewhere so you guys can start communicating more effectively. There are some really good books on this as well. I will put them on here later today. Hey, Shawnee, I'm so happy you're here joining us. I hope you're having a happy Valentine's Day. Denise, let us know if that helps. Guys, let us know your questions about love, heartache, happiness, self-love, all the things that you want to know this Valentine's Day. I'm really grateful y'all are here. It's making my heart happy. Okay, so let's get to the next question. Are you guys ready? Yeah? All right. Mike. Mike asks, I have bipolar disorder and I have been in and out of relationships. Can't hold on to anybody and I'm getting ready to give up on that. What do you think? Maybe I'm better off alone. Okay. Anyone, anywhere watching? Ready for this? I'm about to drop the mic. Not really, don't worry, but seriously, drop some knowledge on you that I learned the hard way. It's not your diagnosis. It's not. It's the fact that we are seeking out people, right, who aren't capable of loving or being a partner that we deserve. Did you hear what I said? It's not about the diagnosis. Sure. If you're struggling with particular diagnoses, could it make it more challenging to have a relationship? Yeah, but also, what are you attracting, right? Want to know? All right. We have to put our needs and our boundaries, and we have to set those up before we get into a relationship. What do you want from somebody else? What do you want the other person to feel? How do you want to feel when you were with or without that person? Maybe they're at work, maybe they're somewhere else. How do you want to communicate with this person? What are the things that you feel you are worthy of in a relationship? These are the questions I want you to ask yourself no matter who you are. Because if we say, oh, I'll take whatever, well, the universe and the world around you will bring you whoever. We don't want whoever. We want somebody who's empathic, who's understanding, who's willing to understand what we're going through, right? And who's willing to want to be with us regardless. Because you know what? I have a feeling, Mike, you are willing to be with that person too.